And he begins with these words, do not be anxious. Do not be anxious about your life, in verse 25. As we read that and how Jesus begins, I think you and I have to take a minute. We have to step back and we have to ask ourselves, what does he mean by anxious? Because you and I live in a day where Dr. Phil reigns supreme, and whatever popular psychology exists out there is going to define the way that we think about things. But Jesus hadn't heard of Dr. Phil and didn't need to respond and recite Dr. Phil's definition of anxiety. So Jesus here has his own, a biblical definition of anxiety that he's communicating. And so we have to ask ourselves, when he says, do not be anxious about tomorrow, what is he talking about? And I'll give you 3 ideas real quick here. And that is that anxiety is when the unknowns of life captivate our devotion. When the unknowns of life captivate our devotion. And anxiety, as Jesus is talking about it here, is essentially emotional atheism. It's emotional atheism. What I mean by that is that intellectually we may be people who live our lives in such a way where we understand who God is, we understand the gospel, and we understand who Jesus is, that he came and he gave his life to rescue us out of hopelessness, giving us a hope that's bigger than the circumstances that we live in, all the while existing amidst the emotional turmoil of being captivated by the unknowns of tomorrow. So it's an intellectual assent to faith, all the while living a life void of faith.